Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for watching. So in today's video I have obviously created a Halloween look for you. So for MAC Cosmetics, the theme this year is Space Squad. So I was inspired by their theme and came up with this kind of alien futuristic makeup look. I didn't really know what to call it. I probably will have a title by the time you're watching this. But yeah, I just kind of played around with some makeup really. It's not really a tutorial, I just kind of went with it, and I think that's sometimes the best way to be when you're creating makeup looks. Obviously a look like this you can make it your own and you can take inspiration from it. There really is no rules to it, just have fun with it, and it's a really easy makeup look to achieve because you can literally just use eyeshadows and makeup that you have at home. In today's video I used all MAC products. I pretty much used every pigment that I owned. Just crack out your pigments and your colourful glitter and highlighters and you're good to go. So I really hope you enjoy this look, and if you do want to see how I got it, then just keep on. So firstly, starting with your base, you want to create a flawless canvas for you to work on top of. I am using MAC Studio Fix Fluid in NC15, so I'm going a couple shades lighter, just so it creates a nice contrast between the colours later on. Then I also used full coverage foundation in white underneath the eyes to really highlight under there, as it is Halloween, so you can get away with going a little bit more extreme. And I'm using all MAC products in this, if you were wondering, in case I keep saying it's from MAC. But yeah, you want to apply that to all of the high points on your face, and make sure you set that with a translucent powder so it doesn't move, and this will also help the products blend that a little bit easier later on. And don't forget to blend that colour down the neck as well, so it is all one colour. But obviously it does depend on what you're wearing, if you're having, you know, a low neck top. But yeah, just make sure it's all nice and seamless. So I'm just blending that white down the neck as well. So this next part is optional, but what I'm doing is dipping a mascara wand into the white full coverage foundation and just brushing that through the brows. Obviously, like I said, this is a Halloween look, so you can get away with doing whatever you like. But I just like how it added a lot of texture, but you can do whatever you want with your brows. It's completely up to you. So using MAC Reflex transparent pink pigment, that is a mouthful, I am brushing that all the way over the high points. So I'm going quite crazy with the highlight here. You can see it creates a really nice pink iridescence to the skin. So put that on the normal places that you would highlight, but we will add more to this later. And using a mixture of the eyeshadows in Ho and Stars and Rockets, I'm going to start mapping out the shape that I want. So I'm taking that right in the inner part of my eye and brushing that down the sides of the nose, and this instantly creates quite an alien-like look. And you want to use the same eyeshadows as your contour as well, and you can go as crazy as you want with this step. You know, it is like an alien inspired look, so obviously we want to create a lot of sort of angles in the face as well, and just add a little bit more depth until you're happy with the intensity. And you want to make sure you blend upwards when doing this process, as you want to keep the underneath of the contour very sharp and free of colour as well. And I'm just going in with another pigment. This one is Reflex Transparent Teal. So this one has more of a teal iridescence to it, and just layering that on top of the pink as well. So this look is very freehand, so you can literally do what you would like with it. just as long as it's very highlighted on the cheekbones and brow bone, you're good to go, but use whatever highlighters you have at home. And for the inner corner as well, I'm just adding a little bit more depth there, using the eyeshadow in Red Brick and mixing it with Rule and a little bit of the Stars and Rockets shade as well. Obviously, this is a lot of eyeshadows. You can literally layer as many as you want, just as long as you put it in that same area as before. It doesn't really matter what you do. And I keep going in with that same Stars and Rockets shade over the edges to really buff it out and make it look like one, basically. So you don't want any harsh lines. So it really doesn't matter what colours you use, just as long as the shape is quite elongated, and you want to add the depth into the inner part and the outer part of the eye. So I'm just using this blue shade to add depth, and don't worry about it being blended, as we will use that same orange shade to blend out the edges, just because you want everything to be nice and seamless. So like I always say, it's all about applying the eyeshadow and blending it, and then applying again and just layering up the eyeshadows, as we want it to be really dimensional and a lot of depth as well. And I felt like that blue shade was a little bit too dull, so I just went in with Teal Pigment, which has obviously more of a metallic finish, and this just really amped up the whole colour. And I'm applying that in exactly the same area and bringing out a little bit further to create that elongated shape, so it's more of a kind of cat-like shape rather than rounded. And just bringing that underneath the eye to again start mapping out the shape, as I will go in with that blue shade underneath again. So as you can see, I'm really kind of winging it out and creating almost like a V shape on the outer part of my eye. Then what you want to do is spray your brush with Fix Plus and dip it into any kind of metallic pigment and add that to the center of the eye. So this is kind of creating like a halo or a spotlight eye. So it's really light in the center and darker on the outer corners. And I'm just doing patting motions to get the best sort of intensity. And just layering up that highlight in the inner corners as well. The one that I'm using is the Teal Reflex Pigment. So it's all about kind of layering, and you really don't have to do the exact same thing as me, just take inspiration from it and obviously make it your own. And I wanted to add a little bit more depth to the crease of my eye, so I'm just going in with a matte black to add that little bit more depth as well. And like I said, I'm adding that same blue on the bottom part of my eye, and I'm using a flat definer brush, as rather than following the shape of my eye, as you can see, I'm bringing it down towards my nose, and I just wanted to create more of an angle with this, as I did want it to be a little bit different to your normal smoky eye. And you can kind of play around with this and use more of a definer brush so you can get the line nice and neat, as you want it to be thinnest right at the end of the line. And just again, make sure you buff out the outer edges, but keep the very beginning very sort of sharp. And I always go back in with that same purple shade on the edges, so it's kind of all blended together. And I did feel like I wanted the line to be a little bit more sharp, so I just went in with some black eyeliner just to sharpen up that little bit more. Okay, so this next part, you're probably thinking, what the hell is she doing? But as this was a space-inspired look, this part is basically mimicking the galaxy or the Milky Way. So I'm just painting on just a layer of black. This is the CHROMALINE in Black, so it's super pigmented, really creamy, and then it sets down so it doesn't move, so it's perfect for Halloween because it won't sort of rub off anywhere as well. So what I'm doing now is just blending out the edges as I didn't want it to be like a definite line. So I'm just blending it down, and I use a mixture of the eyeshadows and the pigments to blend it into the rest of my skin. So as you can see, I'm just blending it into the contour as well, so that just creates a little bit more depth there. And you can see I am just going over the edges on top of my eyebrows. Don't worry about it if it covers your eyebrows, as I am going to go back in with the white mascara just to coat them again if you lost any of that colour. So as I said before, you can use any colours that you would like, but I'm mainly using the teal pigment to blend out the edges. And to sort of mimic the stars or the kind of like Milky Way, I'm using the pigment in 3D black, and I'm just coating that all over the area that I painted black. So as you can see, the kind of glitter looks almost like the stars. So I'm mixing that with MAC's mixing medium, and so it kind of creates like a paste-like texture. And then just using a sponge to literally dab that all over. So you don't want to wipe, you want to dab it onto the black area, and you can coat your whole head with this. You can literally like spray paint your hair black and do it all over your hair, but just for the sake of this video, I didn't want to, you know, cover my whole head. Or you could use a bold cap, whatever you would like. And then just to add to the kind of star-like areas, I'm just using some white acrylic paint and just kind of mimicking like the kind of stars or the galaxy or the kind of planets, you know. You can reference to a galaxy if you would like, but I kind of just played around with it. So I'm just doing some finishing touches. There is really no right or wrong way with this look. Just add as much highlight as possible. So I'm covering my ears, and don't forget to do your neck as well. So I just use a mixture of the blue and purple eyeshadows on my neck and on my ears as well, to kind of create that really highlighted effect. For lips, it is definitely optional. I wanted to kind of keep in with a kind of white sort of grey theme, like on my eyebrows and in the inner corners. I wanted to complement that colour. So I used a mixture of the white lipstick in Frosting and the, I think it is called, I can't remember what it's called, I will link on the screen now, but I just mixed that with the pigment just to create a nice grey tone, and adding some more highlighter to the lips to kind of tie everything together. Then finally, you want to finish this look off with some white mascara. I just used the same MAC Full Coverage White Foundation and just dipped that into my mascara wand and coated my lashes and some false lashes as well. So just add your finishing touches and bring it down the chest or all over your body if you would like. But yeah, that is basically the finished look. I really hope you enjoyed it and you like this look. I know it's something a little bit different, but just have fun with it and take inspiration from it. So yeah, I hope you liked it. Please don't forget to subscribe, and you'll see me in my next one. Bye!